and 2. We haven't seen either one of these players yet this weekend, though Chris Andersen did have a deck tech for his Bant mid-range deck. If you guys haven't seen that, be sure to check it out after the match. But keep your eyes on the match, as Chris is going to play a Forest. It looks like an Elvish Mystic, and we are underway here in round number 12. A Fleece main line here for Hoey, as both these gentlemen are former Legacy Open champions on the Open Series. Matt typically playing Stoneforge Mystic strategies. Chris, I know, got his Legacy one with the old Tezzerator deck back in the day.
Well, that is all the way back.
A little while ago. Him and Chris Van Meter had a lot of success with that deck. Chris was able to get a trophy with it. But Chris has really been playing different decks. That, he's actually been playing not exactly a Tezzerator deck, but Thopter Foundry, sort of the Meek and Legacy. That's how he was able to make the top 8 of our Season 1 Invitational. And his standard deck of choice at that particular tournament was Green-White Devotion. Now, he's not exactly playing Green-White Devotion, but some similar cards like Whispered Elemental here.
Well, you wouldn't know that he wasn't playing Green-White Devotion so far with 2 Forests, Temple of Plenty, an Elvish Mystic, as Sylvan Carey added, now Whisperwood Elemental. Yeah. Looking like a Green-White Devotion start to me.
It's a very, very nice start, as here comes the old Death Mist Raptor. It does have Death Touch, so a very safe attack there. See what Hoey can put together. This Megamorph deck has been very, very popular this weekend here. There's a Siege Rhino. So a little drain, a little gain, for Matt. Den Protector, Death Mist Raptor, very popular combination of cards here. Abzan Megamorph really having an impact after Robert Vaughn's top 8 performance at the Open Series in Providence last weekend. I know that Abzan Reanimator and Oliver Tamaiko's win was a story, but Abzan Megamorph has been very popular here this weekend.
And Chris's draw just not messing around here. I think typically I would like to be on the Abzan side of this kind of matchup. It's a lot of similar tools, and I think the black cards are a little bit more impactful in the matchup than the blue cards, but Chris with this great draw of mana acceleration into large threats here now. Dromoka's command to take care of the Siege Rhino. He's really pulling ahead.
That's a beating. What are we going to play now? Death Mist Raptor? That's pretty good too. And now Manifest. That was a creature too.
I think that was another Whisperwood Elemental.
A powerful magic card.
And Hoey's hand here, Fleece main line, Foul Tongue Invocation. I mean, he's not playing the same game as Chris right now.
No. He really is not. He's going to play Temple of Malady. Top card's going to go down to the bottom. This Bant mid-range deck, something that we saw Craig Wisco and Sam Pardee have success with over the past couple of weeks. A lot of different ways you can build it. Chris's isn't as Ojotide focused as theirs. He only has 2 copies of that deck. It really does at times feel like he's playing a Green-White Devotion deck. He has copies of Master of the Unseen. He doesn't really have that, crazy Nykthos shell that he had at the Season 1 Invitational, though. A lot of people aren't even really playing that strategy anymore.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of mana in the deck, but it's mana creatures and just the lands. There's no Nykthos. There's no crazy shenanigans going on like that. Master of the Unseen, alongside a lot of mana creatures, is often going to be activated for 2 once you get to a certain spot, so you can still pull a lot of power out of it.
Chris going to turn over his Wishwood Elemental, and now there's going to be some more Manifest triggers.
You can see the shrug of the shoulders of, yep, hit about the best thing I could hit.
And he's in no rush. There's a Sandstorm Citadel, just a passing of the turn. He can just keep building a big board because there's no punishment for waiting.
Exactly. I mean, Hoey's got some good defenses set up here. He's got, 2 copies of Fleece main line, one of which can go monstrous this turn, the other one which can go monstrous next turn, and a Death Mist Raptor. So there's not a lot to be gained by attacking right now, but if Hoey's not going to do anything, then just do the same.
Here comes Death Mist Raptor. Potentially. He's going to slow up a little bit here. We might see a morph. We will. What's interesting here is that, Hoey has the ability to go monsters with these Fleece main lines and really just build a nice defense, but Chris can just overwhelm that with all these Manifests.
Again, as long as Hoey's not doing anything in the air or threatening a sweeper, Chris can sit here all day.
And a sweeper is very much covered with not 1 but 2 copies of Whispered Elemental.
Yep.
Even if Hoey were to draw a card like Ugin, for example, Ugin wouldn't even be particularly good right now. No. And that's typically your end-all, be-all card. Now, he doesn't have one of those in his main deck. He is a much more creature-focused deck that also has Master of the Unseen. But just to give you an example of how well Chris is doing in this game is there's Manifest 4 and 5. We had to get a lot of Manifest tokens thanks to GP Miami.
Yeah, we learned our lesson. I don't know how many we had, 10 or 12 thinking we were safe, and it was not even close.
Yeah, not enough. Someone got fired for that. It's tough to watch. Another monstrosity activation here. Fleece main lions are very tough now. Elvish Mystic going to be flipped over. Chris going to look at all of his Manifests here. Can't forget that one of those up top next to Whispered Elemental is a morph, so one of those is guaranteed to flip. Not sure what the morph is. Could be Den Protector, could be Death Mist Raptor. It looks like it's going to be a Den Protector. So that's going to be unmegamorphed. It'll get a counter. It'll return Dromoka's command. Got to make sure that Den Protector does get a counter on it, too. Not optional.
Our dice are a little taxed right now, so we'll get that
I'd
momentarily.
say so. Chris going to reorganize his board.
Chris breaking out the grid.
I like this. A little encroachment.
Yeah.
Got to push those lands up a little further. Really push Hoey back some. We'll see if Chris works his way into Hoey's territory. See, when you tap those lands, for example, you just have to slide them forward a little bit. And it's accidental.
He is infringing on Hoey's territorial sovereignty right now.
I like this.
For sure.
It's like watching Command and Conquer, the video game. Just slowly making his way in. He could have those elves back. No.
No.
Let's put those forward. There you go. See, that was a nice slide. I caught that. Slid those up just a little bit. Disdainful Stroke will be manifested. As will Fleecemane Lion. All of this is very obvious thanks to Courser of Crewfix being in play. And we'll see the top card of Chris's deck here because he has a Courser in play. And it's an island. So if Hoey didn't know before that Chris has a blue splash in his deck, he knows now.
Yeah, Disdainful Stroke plus now the island.
And if Hoey has kept up with the format, which I have to imagine a player of his caliber has been, he knows that, okay, you're playing this particular deck with the blue splash. That means that you have Dragonlord Oshtai somewhere in your deck. Chris will untap. Take a draw step. It's the island. Sylvan Carry added on top of the deck. Island will enter the battlefield. Courser will trigger twice as there are 2 in play. Chris has that Dramoka's Command in hand.
Better Den Protector as well. Yeah, you know, it's just an issue of developing the board to be overpowering enough to attack through this because Hoey's got really good blocking in play.
There's a Death Miss Raptor. Here's another Death Miss Raptor. Carry added is 1. Courser is 2. And this might be as simple right now as Chris just looking for Dragonlord Oshtai. That's it. You know, he can keep doing this and eventually attack, but he also might just say, I'm just looking for Dragonlord Oshtai to be able to clear the path. Or to just have a flyer to be able to attack, and I don't think you have removal. Got a Thoughtseize here from Hoey. Chris looks like he's going to respond with with Dramoka's Command. Though he may not. There's Den Protector in his hand too, and just say,
Yeah, whatever.
good luck picking one of these cards. There goes Den Protector. Rhino. There'll be a trigger. Andersen's going to go down to 10. Command.
And now Chris's plan here is to get the Den Protector to such a size that it can now attack through these blockers.
Very smart. There's a land from Courser. He's up to 12. Top card, Yavimaya Coast. Den Protector has 4 power right now. Chris looking at all of these manifests. Death Touch. Den Protector maybe. He's going to slow down a little bit. Another command.
He wants to get one more counter on the Den Protector.
Yep. Probably kill the Death Miss Raptor too, somehow. Cause can't kill the Fleecemane Lions, obviously.
Yeah. He has not a lot else to be done with it.
Yep.
And he gets the option of getting that Death Miss Raptor back whenever he's feeling like it because he's got a sea of manifest tokens, some of which can be unmorphed into creatures.
Turn them all. Yes, yes, there it is. Easy mode.
Yep.
Turn them all. Or at least most of them.
Yeah, he doesn't want the 4/4 Whisperwood Elemental to be in combat and get eaten by one of the Fleecemane Lions, but if Hoey is willing to double block the 5/5, that's fine.
He might be able to just attack with the
This might just be lethal.
Yeah, because he has to block the 2 biggest creatures, and there's so much damage coming across. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Chris Andersen's going to win game number 1 here over Matt Hoey. Bant mid-range, up a game here over Robzon Megamorph off the power of Whisperwood Elemental.
An unchecked turn 3 Whisperwood Elemental was the entire game, even though Hoey was doing some reasonably powerful stuff on his own. was able to go monstrous with multiple Fleece main lines, but could not win the battle against all of Chris's card advantage and attrition effects.
Let's talk sideboard. That means we're going to start with Hoey. He's going to be on the play here for game number 2. He's got himself an ultimate price of Dromoka's Command and End Hostilities, 2 Elspeth Sun's Champion, a Self-Inflicted Wound, a Foul-Tongue Invocation, a Thoughtseize, 2 Duress, 2 Glare of Heresy, and 3 Drown in Sorrow. Deck looks a little bit like what Tendrum was playing this weekend.
Yeah, I think he wants some of the more removal effects here. I don't know if he necessarily wants something as specific as Glare of Heresy, though Master of the Unseen is a problematic card for him, as is an early Fleece main lion. I think the ultimate price certainly comes in for Whisperwood Elemental, another copy of Dromoka's Command and Hostilities, 2 copies of Elspeth Sun's Champion and Self-Inflicted Wound. All seem like solid sideboard cards.
On Chris's side for his Bant deck?
2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Stratus Dancer, a Valorous Stance, a Dromoka's Command, a Glare of Heresy, a Plummet, 2 copies of Encasing Ice, 2 Hornet Nest, a Master of the Unseen, and 2 copies of Negate. I'll bring in the other copy of Master of the Unseen because the game just gets dragged out. I think the extra copy of Valorous Stance and Dromoka's Command is solid here. I think Glare of Heresy is a fine card to bring in. And I think the Stratus Dancers are likely to come in as well. Hoey's got a lot of spells in his deck, and if he's sideboarding anything, it's likely to be more spells.
Well, these players will get ready for game number 2. Sideboarding away. Again, Matt Hoey will be on the play. We've talked a lot about season number 2, the race, and of course how it is a short season. Well, the Invitational is coming up right around the corner, and it's tied to the Origins Game Fair, which means we're going to do some pretty special stuff, actually.
Yeah, we have last chance Invitational qualifiers on Friday if you're looking to get in there, a super game night. Of course, the Invitational, the Open Series event, which will be modern, IQs, $80,000 in cash prizes. We are going to have a huge, huge event here in Columbus. It is going to be a lot of fun.
5 days of Magic. The 3rd is a Wednesday, because Origins is a long game affair. So the 3rd is a Wednesday, the 7th is a Sunday. So if you're looking for a bunch of Magic, you're going to be in Columbus, Ohio, June 3rd through the 7th. And if you are fortunate enough to win an Invitational, of course, you're going to get $10,000, which is pretty sweet. You also get your likeness on a card, like Jacob Wilson did for Season 1.
Yeah, this is the Jacob Wilson Monastery Monk token. He got this as a result of winning the Season 1 Invitational in Richmond, Virginia. This token is available for a limited time in a number of ways when you enter any of our 2-day $20,000 Open Series events, any of our premier IQs, both here at the Open Series and the ones that are held at your local store area, and whenever you place an order on StarCityGames.com for $5 or more. But this is available for a limited time only, so if you want to get your Jacob Wilson Monk token, either register for one of our large events or place an order on the website today.
We've seen a lot of awesome tokens. Tom Ross winning 2 of them last year, and now Jacob Wilson has one for Monastery Mentor as well. Mentor eventually will work its way into Standard. You have to imagine. It's almost too powerful not to.
Well, where we've seen it is in the sideboard of Tom Ross's Heroic deck. And he brings it in pretty much every matchup where he's expecting things to slow down a little bit because the opponent's bringing in a lot of removal. Similar philosophy to bringing in Treasure Cruise out of the sideboard. It's much the same deal. So it does get a little bit of standard play right now. I agree with you that in general it appears to be an extremely powerful card, and I think it's only a matter of time, but there's a lot of competition in creature slots here, and I think if we see a decline of red decks, if there's fewer wild slashes in the format, that could be really good for Monastery Mentor.
There's just a lot of 3-mana spells. A lot of options at 3 mana, you know?
Yes.
That's part of the problem.
But if the format is shaping up to be green decks and Esper Dragons, I think that's very good news for Monastery Mentor.
Well, that's what it is this weekend.
Right.
That's for sure.
It would be a fine card to play this weekend, I feel like.
And one gentleman doing very well with Mardu Midrange.
Yes.
And Joshua Taylor. And again, we will have his deck for you guys later today as he sat down at the sideboard after he won last round. 10-1 with Mardu Midrange. He's found a nice Crackling Doom deck. Chris Andersen, Matt Hoey, they're on green strategies that they're happy with. Different ways to go with the Den Protector, Deathness Raptor combo, but both effective.
In the abstract, I think the blue shell is the more powerful use of the card because looping counterspells is so powerful in a lot of matchups, but you can't go wrong playing with Thoughtseizes and Hero's Downfalls also.
See some players playing blue, as you mentioned, the black one that Hoey is playing. Is there a way to get red into the mix? Are there any red spells worth getting back? Seems kind of unlikely. Doesn't seem like nigh as much of a thing going on.
Stoke would be a nice thing to rebuy, but I think that the roster of red cards that you would want to rebuy and that are realistic to build a deck around is probably less than, say, Hero's Downfall or Negate.
We are underway here in game number 2. Temple of Malady very quickly. That top card goes to the bottom. Hoey did not like what he saw with that scry. Valor stands to draw for Chris. A Temple of Plenty for him. Top card staying on top as we go to Hoey. Hoey will draw a copy of Temple of Silence. Temple of Silence enters the battlefield. Top card goes to the bottom very quickly for Matt again. Andersen will draw a copy of Deathmiss Raptor. Natsiav Mycos, Sylvan Caryatid, pass the turn back. Hoey with a Sansep Citadel, a Windswept Heath. Down to 19. And I have a feeling we'll have a Courser of Crufix here in just a moment.
Yeah, Hoey kept a pretty land heavy here. Hand here has been scrying to the bottom a little bit. And I think his hand may be all lands left over even after scrying several to the bottom.
Hero's Downfall is the top card. Chris is now working with that information as the draw was a copy of Dromoka's Command. There is a Plains. Here is a Deathmiss Raptor. And we'll pass it back. Andersen willing to take one there instead of using Sylvan Caryatid, perhaps wanting to be able to block with the Caryatid if necessary.
Yeah. Though it is a little curious since that only comes up if Hoey uses a removal spell in your Deathmiss Raptor, which you're probably thrilled with, but it's small potatoes either way.
Yeah. The draw for Andersen is a Plains. He will put the Plains on the battlefield. And now play a Morph. Raptor. Red zone maybe, yes. See if Hoey wants to use that Hero's Downfall. Looks like he does not. Dromoka's Command, the draw. Dromoka's Command on top of the deck. The Plains, trigger the Courser. Pass the turn back. Andersen will draw a card. It's a copy of Elvish Mystic. Here comes the Raptor. Hoey no interest in blocking or killing that thing, which makes a lot of sense given that there's a Morph in play. An Elvish Mystic and a passing of the turn.
Chris being very patient, had the opportunity last turn to just use Dromoka's Command to get the Courser off the table, which seemed a little bit attractive with Dromoka's Command coming because you don't want to be necessarily fighting a battle of instants there. But Chris feeling confident with the Raptor in play, pressuring Hoey. Then eventually Hoey's going to have to make a move, and then his Dromoka's Command in response is going to be very powerful.
It just feels like to me Chris wants a 2-for-1.
Yes.
That's what I think that's what this is all about, is just whatever it takes to get a 2-for-1. Because right now, Courser isn't really doing a ton.
Right.
Here's Dromoka's Command from Hoey. And with the way Chris's hand is set up, he has a Command and a Valor stance, so he can have himself a pretty nice turn.
Yeah, he can get a lot out of this.
He'll take one. So there's a Command. So +1/+1, and probably make him sacrifice an enchantment.
And if this goes through as it appears to, Hoey's going to have no creature in play, just a downfall in hand, drawing Dromoka's Command. A pretty bad place to be.
He does have some cards that can help turn him around, but he is in a bad spot right now. Here comes Hero's Downfall. It's going to go after the Morph. Yep, it's a Deathmiss Raptor. I actually do like a lot how Chris played this particular game, because the way that he played this game, he made it seem like that's a Den Protector.
Yep.
He played it with 2 mana available. He kept 2 mana available the entire time, but that 2 mana the entire time was for Valor Stance. It was for Dromoka's Command. It was not for Den Protector, and he actually just has Den Protector in his hand, which he is playing as a Morph right now.
And I just love the effort to squeeze out a 2-for-1 when both players have mulligans.
Yep.
Because it's just so pronounced when both players own 6 cards. All those 2-for-1s represent just a huge percentage of the player's total cards to work with.
There's a Master of the Unseen. Chris is going to unmorph his Den Protector now. Give me that Deathmiss Raptor back. Give me that Dromoka's Command back. Hoey, I think, is done playing this game.
Yeah, he's just letting this one go.
Yeah, he's letting it go because he's getting absolutely crushed.
And he had spells left over. Just nothing to do.
Yeah, he's getting crushed. Chris Andersen's going to win this game and match over Matt Hoey. 2-0. Chris he's playing some magic right now.
He is.
He is having one heck of a year, and it's another win for him. He's 10-2 with this Bant mid-range deck, and coming into this tournament, he even said, I felt like I have a really, really good deck for this tournament, and one that's not really being played enough, and he's putting his money where his mouth is. That was a beating.
That was. He had Whisperwood Elemental, which seemed much more powerful than anything Hoey drew in either of the games, and did a very good job of being mana efficient and trying to set the trap for Hoey there to be put into a spot where we'd have to make a move with Dramoka's commander.